Hey everyone, it's Leslie. I wanted to preface this video by saying I was very, very close to just not making this video at all. I had no plans actually to make it, which is why a lot of the vlog footage you see, or just some of the footage in general, is just pretty scuffed because all while I was doing this, in my mind, I was never gonna put out anything. It was just for fun. But I did end up kind of vlogging a little bit because I was like, maybe I'll share it. What really pushed me to finally record and make this video was my editor, Lucky. Big shout out. I figured there's probably at least a couple people who want to see how I got into Pokemon Nuzlocking or VGC, just how it even happened, because I do get people coming into my chat even now. They see me like playing a Nuzlocke or doing Showdown and they're like, when did you get into Pokemon? Like, and I was like, honestly, it was all just happened really fast. To go back in time really quickly, I grew up playing Pokemon, watching it, the show. I've seen the first, second, and third movie. I don't even know how many times. Mostly I love the third movie with Entei and Molly. And I don't know, I just rewatched that movie randomly just because I feel like it. I was a big fan of the show and the games. My favorites, Pokemon Emerald. But I played all those games very casually. Like I never did a Nuzlocke. I have never tried to learn all the Pokemon types, or I just kind of pressed A and I'd have a really over leveled Pokemon, buy a billion full restores and brute force my way through the Elite Four every time, Yeah, that was kind of where I've at all the way up until like the middle of this past year, where I got a message from my friend Point Crow and he said this: I'm doing a big live event and wanted to see if you'd be interested. I've been planning a huge Pokemon event with a bud of mine, Peachow, where streamers will have to play through a Pokemon Nuzlocke and then use their winning team in an in-person event in LA to battle in a tournament. I said, yeah, I'm in. That was the start of it all. I was partnered up with my coach Flygon and I uploaded a video on my Nuzlocke with Flygon already. Flygon and I were scrimming for hours and hours and hours, maybe like 6 to 7 hours for 3 days, cramming in all the openings we could have, what we're gonna see, who's faster, what advantages we have, what items.
What type is Bronzong?
Steel Psychic
Okay, so fighting into Steel.
is super effective.
Okay, and fighting into Psychic?
Weak. Oh, neutral. Neutral damage.
Yeah, so it is neutral. Actually, I would Dragon Darts, because I'm pretty sure we checked and a single Dragon Darts kills you crit, so it doesn't matter. But a single Dragon Darts kills
Oh my
that,
god.
so.
Okay. That makes oof. Okay, I love that.
I think during that whole process, I don't know, maybe the way Flygon was coaching me, it clicked, and not that I got it, but that I started to admire it. I was like, wow, wait, this is like chess mixed with rock, paper, scissors, mixed with just like pure memorization. It was so daunting, but once I started to like kind of tackle it, I grew such an admiration for the game, for VGC, for the doubles, for learning like moves like protect and fake out and why they're good and priority moves. This is a whole nother beast that I never ever played. Like I never thought about Pokemon like this. My whole friend group, most of us got pretty into Pokemon, and I saw Toast post in the Discord at the end. He said his sign up for the Las Vegas regionals for 2026. And that confused me. I was like, what do you mean 2026? But it's 2025. What's a regional? What is any of this? What is I wasn't following the competitive scene in the slightest. And I realized like you can sign up for this and you can go compete in person. And I was like, oh, what? So I didn't sign up right away, but it definitely like put a little thought in my mind. And I think maybe a week or two later, I think I was like, F it. I am so bad under pressure. I kind of want to throw myself into this, and I'm gonna sign up, because at the end of the day, even if I go and whatever, lose all my matches, which I was expected to do, I'll have a fun time, right? And I'll learn about this scene and I'll have a motivation. So I did exactly that. I signed up. Unfortunately, there was actually only like one spot left, and a bunch of my friends wanted to sign up too, including like Saikuno and Abe. And I was the only one who got a spot. I was like, oh, well now I don't really want to compete because I don't know anybody competing except me and Toast, and it felt like too high of pressure. I was hoping like a bunch of my friends would go, we would all practice, we'd all lose together, and it'd be this fun trip to Vegas. But I realized it was just kind of me. I was like, that's okay. I'm still gonna try this, because I found out there was another wave to sign up, and I was like, maybe they can get in on that wave. I decided to reach out to VGC. And if you guys don't know Wolfie, he's widely regarded as one of the best VGC players to ever do it. He's a 2016 world champion. He has won numerous internationals and regionals, so many events since. He's just one of the GOATs, okay? I was like, hey, I know somebody who's really good at VGC. Let me ask for some help. Let me just ask the GOAT himself. So I did, and he was so gracious, and he was like, this is awesome. Let's make you a team. Give me a tier list of all your favorite Pokemon. I was like, what? And so that I did. I sorted all of them. A lot of them I had never even seen before. I'm a Goldango hater. Okay, I didn't realize how strong Goldango was. He looks like a piece of cheese. Magmortar, I do not F with Magmortar. There's some I just was like, nope. Lapras, Tinkaton, Chandelure, Azumarill, Jumpluff, Umbreon, Alolan Executor, Alolan Dugtrio, Clefable, Kingdra, Metagross, Dragapult, and Primarina in my S+. This is a kind of fun thing to do because I never really thought about how much I like or dislike Pokemon. I really like Alolan Dugtrio, and I was begging Wolfie to make it work on the team. He said, we are not using Alolan Dugtrio. That Pokemon is only used in hair commercials and nothing else. And he goes, good for sitting on the bench. He can be the mascot or the cheerleader. And then he said, you have the best taste I've ever seen for competitive Pokemon. The top of your list is almost all bangers. And I was like, damn straight. A couple days later, I get a message, and it's from Wolfie, and he says, I think I have a team for you. This team, it consists of Mousehold, Annihilate, Azumarill, Dragonite, Gengar, and Incineroar. And I remember my first thought was like, whoa, Gengar? Like, what? That's sick. And then I was so happy to see Azumarill. I was really happy to see the team. I know Incineroar is obviously like one of the best competitive Pokemon ever. I'd heard about the Mousehold, Annihilate synergy with Beat Up. So I was like, okay, I kind of have an idea. I'm like, Dragonite, is Dragonite good? I don't know. Azumarill made the cut. Mind blown. I got a couple coaching sessions from Wolfie. He taught me how to pilot the team. He taught me kind of the whole idea about the team. Oh, also I learned about regulations. So this is in Regulation H. Every couple months, I think, Pokemon releases a new regulation, or we go back to a former regulation where there's different rules and different Pokemon and restrictions. Different restricted Pokemon are allowed. So in this specific regulation, there were no legendaries, I believe. He was working with my favorite Pokemon within this Regulation H format. Yeah, it was great. We had a session. He taught me pretty much kind of how to pilot this thing. Terra typing proved to be kind of the biggest struggle for me. Like, I could not grasp Terra typing, and it's still difficult, but I finally fundamentally understand like how it works. That was the most confusing thing ever for me. I was playing this team on Showdown, and I was losing a lot. I wasn't able to figure it out, but I was getting better after some of the sessions. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And then I ran into another challenge where I realized I need to get this team in the game. I have to actually make the team, right? So then I was like, oh dear Lord. So I started to watch tutorials online on YouTube, how to breed perfect IV Pokemon. And then I learned about bottle caps, and I spent 3 hours trying to breed the perfect Dratini, 2.5 hours, and like 8 or 9 boxes of almost perfect Dratinis later. I decided to message one of my Twitch mods, Will. Huge shout out to him, because I know he loves Pokemon and he has so many of them, and he's put a lot of time into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And I was like, hey Will, would you have any chance of knowing how I can get this team, or if you could help me? And he's like, I can get your team, no problem. Would you like them shiny? And I was like, what? And he's like, I have a shiny charm, this and that, and I'm already looking for these shinies. I was like, there is no need to get these shiny, do not worry. And so he helped me get most of my entire team.
I don't know much about that bird. Braviary, it's just probably a flying
You're about
type.
to learn.
All right, I'm about to learn. Defiant. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we've kind of both triggered each other's. My first thoughts are I probably want to maybe get a little bulk up. I don't know the calculation on like if that's gonna kill it or the drain punch, so I think that's okay. And then fake out onto maybe you're gonna set up Tailwind. Birds usually set up Tailwind. I don't like that.
That is the perfect play. That is legitimately the best possible play. There is no better play than what you just did. I am so happy. That is amazing. Yes.
Okay.
And you're dealing with Pokemon you're not familiar with, so that's incredible.
I could U-turn into my own Annihilate, boom, activate the Rage Fist, and then swap out into Mousehold, which, you know, that's a world. There's a world, okay? And then...
That's so cool. I cannot believe you're seeing side U-turn to activate Rage Fist. Oh, and they switched!
Okay!
Oh my god.
Okay. Nice!
Oh, but because you side U-turn, you get the Rage Fist stack. Oh my god.
Big. Okay, protected. That's okay.
That is so sick. What? I cannot believe you saw that. I don't know if I would have seen that, to be honest.
I know. Well,
it does no damage. Oh my god, you got a free stack.
This is awesome. I notice, like, I'll start off pretty strong sometimes. Like, I can recognize to get set up. And then the second one thing goes south, I have trouble, like, mentally, like, I'm like, oh, it's over. Because usually it is over at that point. Like, yeah.
It depends on the matchup. Like, that was a weird matchup, so sometimes it is. I think, yeah, like I think it's important to remember that in Pokemon, you can kind of always still win because your opponent can always mess up, you know?
True.
And also, because you'll be playing best of threes, it's important to, like, you want to make it as hard for your opponent in the current game because even if you lose, that's still stamina you're taking away from them in future games.
I didn't want to continue bothering Wolfie too much. I know he's very busy and he was going through some stuff. And so there's just a lot I know he's dealing with. I was watching Toast stream and I saw that he had a coach named James Baek. He won 10th at Worlds last year and he has been like second and third, I think, before. He's the VGC GOAT as well. And so I reached out. James was more than happy to hop on a call, look at the Pokepaste, and try to explain the team to me. And he walked me through not even just learning VGC, but also like just how to learn efficiently and how to practice efficiently. He's like, are you just spamming showdown games? And I was like, yeah, kind of. And he's like, so you're not VOD reviewing them? And I was like, no, I'm not really reviewing them. And he's like, you need to be reviewing your games. Something he did that was insanely helpful was he played with my team at high elo and then sent me replays of those games. And so I could watch him and like pause before he'd make a move and say the move I would have made, and then saw like, oh, this is the move he made, and why is that better? Why is he switching out? What is happening? And I realized like a major mechanic of my team, and it's obvious, it's just like really getting my Annihilate set up and using Incineroar and Mousehold and basically to keep my Annihilate alive. I didn't realize how good Friend Guard is. Basically, if Mousehold, you have a Mousehold with Friend Guard next to another Pokemon, whatever Pokemon this is will take less damage. I'm not exactly sure how much, but it does. My goal is to keep Mousehold alive next to Annihilate, but also like, you know when to swap in, and maybe then I have Incineroar next to Annihilate and fake out, and then Terra Ghost maybe a fake out or something, so I can guaranteed stacks to get a beat up onto my Annihilate to boost its Rage Fist stacks, and then you're dealing with a boosted up Annihilate that can almost take out anything. And so my goal now is like, how can I set up my Annihilate? I was running into this issue where my Azumarill was almost never coming out, and I was really sad about that because Azumarill got me through the Nuzlocke, and I have this, you know, I'm attached. Yeah, I messaged Wolfie and I was like, hey, I have a problem. I don't think I'm able to use Azumarill. And he said, that totally makes sense. I think the meta has shifted a bit since I built the team, and now it seems way more hostile for Azumarill. Let me take a look at the team today and get you a new version. And you want to do another session sometime this week before Vegas? And I was like, yes, I would. Right after that, he comes with a new Pokepaste, and actually he offered two teams. The first one being my current team, but swapped out Azumarill for Volcarona, which I loved. I loved this pivot because I was getting owned by Volcarona actually, and I was like, wow, this Pokemon's pretty good. So when I saw it on my team, I was like, let's go. I was happy to take Volcarona. And then the other team was, we took out Gengar and we put in Hisui and Zoroark, can't even say the name, and Volcarona. Right away I look at it and I was like, Zoroark looks confusing. It becomes another Pokemon or something, and then I don't really and it's like a week before Vegas, I already don't know how to use Volcarona. You know, Wolfie's like, you know what, let's not overwhelm you with, like, you've been practicing with the team, let's just replace Azumarill with Volcarona. And I was like, perfect.
I have the Volcarona for you then.
Oh my God, Volcarona!
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the model we're subbing in over Azumarill.
Oh my God, you know why? Because Volcarona has been insanely hard for me to go against. So why Volcarona?
So basically, I figured that you needed another form of special damage because your team is very physical, and so that's part of the reason why your Caledon is difficult, I think, is because it becomes super tanky and then you can't hit it very well.
Yeah.
So I knew you needed a special attacker, and my other thing that I wanted to give you was speed. Because it's just easier. Like speed is really important, and I thought like, yeah, Azumarill priority, but maybe you like it would be nice if you just had something faster.
He coached me a bit through this team. We played a bunch of practice matches. I didn't feel great, if I'm being honest. I forgot to talk about this, but probably the 2 weeks before this, I just felt a bit discouraged. I felt like I was the only one doing it, and my interest kind of was dwindling. And then the pressure that the tournament was applying was a bit much on me. So I said I was just gonna drop out. I was gonna drop out, but then the second wave came out and there was like not really any slots, but my friend Abe managed to grab one of the slots and he's like, I got it. What game do we have to play this on? Is it Brilliant Diamond? And I was like, what? He doesn't even realize, like, he doesn't know that we're playing on like Scarlet Violet. And so I was like, if this chump is gonna compete knowing jack shit, okay, then I sure as hell am gonna compete too. So I felt like, you know what? A fellow noob is going into VGC with me. I'm just gonna keep my spot. F it, let's go. We end up going to Vegas. I don't have too much practice with this team, with the Volcarona, not nearly as much as I wanted, but I was like, F it, let's go. James was amazing. He sent us a video tutorial of all the things we had to do to set up. He was like, also make sure to get there the day before, grab your badges. Here's how you have to submit your entire team on the website. You have to like manually go in, by the way, and like submit all the stats of your Pokemon, to submit them one by one. It was like a whole process to do this. I did not know you had to do this kind of stuff. You can't just like copy and paste your Pokepaste. You gotta like, you know. So you do all that, fly in. We get there and it was crazy. There's like lines out the door, like just like zigzag. I'm like, what is going on? There's so many lines. But we get to the front of the line, we get our badge, we go into the main convention room, and it's awesome. There are tables everywhere. It's split into like Pokemon Go. There's like merch. Then there is VGC section, and then the TCG section, which is the biggest. And then there's kind of merch all around the sides. And so we go pick up like a free mouse pad, or not mouse pad, like a playing pad thing. I sit down in one of the chairs that the VGC players will be sitting in to kind of like get myself in the right mental. And I'm playing Showdown on the side, and I bump into James. He helps set up my team. He's like, okay, here's how you submit everything. And he was so helpful. I was really nervous this whole time. I don't know. My stomach was like, I was like, ugh. I don't know. I'm just like scared for the next day. Me and Abe realized the next day we have to wake up pretty much at like 5:45 in the morning because the event says to get there at 7. We go to bed, wake up, and we get to the convention center. There are lines. It is so crowded. At this point, I'm like, oh God, are we gonna miss our first match? I was panicking a little bit, but luckily I was like seeing a lot of players and I was like, they're not gonna start without the players, right? So I was like, cross my fingers.
Made it in. I'm at table 22. My first opponent's name is Bobby. This is what it looks like. Bro, I'm actually shaking. I'm like really nervous. Are you nervous?
Oh yeah.
You're not nervous.
I must make a kid cry.
I don't know if these are kids.
As soon as we get in, like, I just refreshed my thing and it's like, here's your table partner. Here's your seat. So I see my partner, I see my table, and I go to sit down, and right away I look around and I'm like, where'd you guys get notebooks? And they're like, you bring your own. And I was like, what? And I looked at my Switch and everyone's is plugged in and mine isn't. And I don't realize I forgot how to set up. And luckily the guy I was facing was so sweet and he's like helping me with it. And Peter went and ran off and helped grab me a notebook and he brings it to me. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just so nervous at this point. And I also don't have a team sheet. And luckily also a kind lady comes around and brings my team sheet to me. Then I hear above on the speakers and it's like, VGC Masters, round 1, you can begin. And I was like, what? We can start? We can begin? What does it even mean? We can begin.
Leslie is using the sacred text.
I'm so gone. I'm blacking out. Like, I can't. I'm looking at my team sheet. I'm like, what are these words? I'm shaking.
You're gonna do great.
I'm literally shaking.
No, I think you just play your first match, and no matter what, you'll feel more
What
relaxed.
happens if they're faster than me? Or they set up trick rooms? I'm really bad at the trick room.
Don't say that out loud.
Ash didn't win his first battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Ash got stomped. I'm gonna report back a winner.
Leslie is allowed to have a notepad and pencil, so we went ahead and bought this Shaman one for $6, and it's really cute.
Shaman!
For our training party juniors and
Manaphy?
I'm a fan.
big Pokemon fan.
I trade off my team sheet and I see everyone around me start writing notes. So I start writing notes too, but I don't know what the heck to write down. So I'm just writing the names of his Pokemon. I see a Kilowattrel, which was funny enough, right on the line to get inside. I was telling Abe I really don't want to see a Kilowattrel because I don't know how to play against one. And I know that it has this ability called competitive. If you lower its stats, its special attack gets raised. And I was literally talking to Abe in line about Kilowattrel. And the first Pokemon I see is a damn Kilowattrel. Also, he had a Tyranitar. I really did not want to see a Tyranitar. I kind of got filled with like panic when I first saw his team sheet. And what you are supposed to do in the first minute, I think you have 1 minute to look at their team and then pick your team. Pick the 4 that you want to bring of your 6. That's how VGC works. You bring 6, you pick 4, and then you go doubles 2v2. I actually panicked and I picked 3 of my Pokemon and thought I had more time, and I just forgot to pick my 4th Pokemon. I see the game just start and I think to myself, well, as long as it didn't pick Incineroar as my starter, and well, lo and behold, Annihilate and Incineroar come out, and Kilowattrel's on the start. I see Intimidate go out, and the Kilowattrel's special attack goes up because of competitive, and I was like, well, as long as my Annihilate stays alive, and I didn't really process that flying and fighting. Like, I didn't really think about terraing right off the bat. My Annihilate, yeah, it's a fighting type. It takes super effective damage from a flying move, like Air Slash that a Kilowattrel will have. Also, it's boosted special attack, so it's going to do extra damage. So the first turn, I lose my Annihilate right away to Air Slash, and my brain just went blank. I was like, one rule is to keep Annihilate alive to carry me through this game. So I slowly lose. The second game I lost as well, not as hard I think, but I still lost, and I got 0-2'd, and I was like, well, it is what it is. And I met up with Abe afterwards, and Abe was like, you lost? And I was like, yeah, what about you? He's like, yep, 0-2.
Hey, it's the first of many battles.
It was really fun.
Hey, that's good.
And you know what? I wasn't panicking. I was just like, damn, I'm screwed.
Honestly, you did good.
It was rough.
Hey.
It was rough.
Hey, you're getting experience under that belt.
I am. How'd you feel?
I lost.
Now what happens is everyone who goes 0-1 will now go against other people who went 0-1, and the 1-0s will go against each other. So pretty much the more you lose, the more you will go against, or like the easier your game should get because you're playing people who are losing. So then if you go 0-2, you'll go against somebody in your third match who went 0-2 as well, and then 0-3, someone who went 0-3. So that was a little bit encouraging.
Round 2 starting, and my opponent's name is Ethan. I will let you guys know how it goes.
My second game, I actually took it to a best of 3. In the second match, third game, I actually felt overconfident. I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. I'm going to win. I remember kind of sitting back. Basculegion comes out. I'm sitting there with my Annihilate full health, thinking I can just tank this Basculegion, anything it's going to bring. And it just last respects, OHKOs me, and I die and I lose. My opponent comes up to me. He was super nice, and he's like, you should have won that. You just lost because of inexperience, but like you should have Terra-Fired. And I was like, oh my God, I know. I panicked. And he's like, no, great games though, like really great games. And then we go to game 3. So I'm 0-2 at this point going into game 3. I get the team sheet and I see none other than Hisuian Zoroark. And I was shaking my fist because I was like, no, I don't know how this stupid Pokemon works, because I saw it when Wolfie was like, would you like to play it? And I was like, nah, too much work. I didn't even bother to learn. I just know that it can come out as another Pokemon. I was not ready to face it. I got completely wiped from it. I actually just like, it was a really fast 2-0. Game 3 was probably the hardest one for me, just the worst one. I just was really disappointed in my performance just because I didn't know. I just lost to just not knowing. I'm 0-3. I think at this point, Abe is also 0-3. I think Abe and I were pretty similar the whole time, but it was fun to recap after each game. Like, how are you feeling? You know, what was your game like? And we were just like, yeah, we were just discussing. It was a little bit grueling of a process. There's no lunch break, and you kind of just get 15 minutes in between each game, depending on when you finish. And so you kind of just have to keep going, and your brain does kind of get burnt. You're just like, oh my God, like you just put everything you have into a match, and then you get out of it, and then you go back into it. And I was 0-4 at this point. I messaged Wolfie and I was like, it's really hard, but it's really fun. He's like, oh, because he had said, good luck today. I'll be around if you have any questions or you need a pep talk or anything, which was so sweet. I said, I'm learning a lot though. And he's like, proud of you. You're doing great. And I was like, I shall keep enduring. He said, take it one game at a time. A funny thing here is that as you go on in the games, you get bumped down in number of on your table. So I started at like table 20 or something, and then I go to like table 40, and then I'm at table like 80, and then I'm at table like 200. I think going into game 5, I was so far down. I was like table like 320 or something, that I'm at the next section. Like I'm at the there's just another section of tables that like not even with the VGC players pretty much. But the great thing is that you sit down and, you know, everybody here has gone 0-4, and there's a good amount of us. And, you know, we're just like, hey, let's have fun.
Going into game 5, Abe and I are both 0-4. Really, at this point, we're just having fun. Here's the spectator area.
Leslie made her kid cry.
I beat them so bad, they started crying. I wish.
And I sit down, and the guy across from me recognizes me. He's like, oh, whoa, I didn't know I'd be playing you. And also, I didn't know you were doing this. And I was like, hello. And he's like, well, this is fun. And I was like, well, hello. Anyways, I look at his team. I know he had Flamigo. He had like, he was running pretty meta stuff. Pretty sure he had like Rillaboom and Goldango. I had a really clear mind during this game, and I actually realized the notes that I needed, what I was losing to was actually just forgetting who was dead on his team and my team. So I started just using my notes to cross out names. I was like, okay, if I killed the Goldango, I would just write Goldango X on top of it. If I killed the Sinistcha, X, you know? So I was able to set up, I believe, and I actually 2-0'd, and I was really proud. I felt bad. I know he missed like some stuff he wasn't supposed to miss. I went 2-0. I was so happy just to like get a win. I think I ended up winning 4 matches or 4 games total. And after this, the winner takes their ticket to the, like, there's a table where they log all the scores. And I had never gotten to take a ticket because I had never won. So this was my first win. And so he was so kind. He walked me to the ticket place, and we turned it in, talked to Abe at that right afterwards. And Abe was like, how'd you do? And I was like, I 2-0'd. And he's like, I 2-0'd as well. So we both 2-0'd.
I got my first win, guys. I get to turn in my slip. There's a slip. It says winner. Nah, that's crazy. This is Kyle.
What's up, guys?
GG's. We played each other in our last game. You got really unlucky, and I'm very sorry. I audibly, I took my headset off to say, I was like, ooh. But it was a really good game.
It was a really, really good set.
Thanks for playing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My first one.
We were sitting kind of preparing for the next match, and we both were pretty fatigued at this point. We were like, hey, let's check our next opponent. If we get each other, let's play it. But if we don't, let's not. 15 minutes goes by, we refresh when the partners come out, and we check, and we didn't have each other. So we're like, F it. Let's just call it there. We're pretty tired. We were hungry at this point. I felt like we had gotten a lot out of the experience. We go to the table, we let them know we were dropping out, and they're like, thank you for playing. And I was just over the moon. I don't know, I had such a good time. Like, even just thinking about it now, I'm just like, I'm so happy I did it. It was such a new experience. I don't know, I don't know. It's just such a cool experience. I've never really competed like that, except like in Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments when I was a kid. So that was like first tournament I'd been in like that in years, maybe like my whole life. Highly recommend this experience, by the way. If I'm a casual, like I'm new at this. I've been playing VGC for a couple months. I'm very low rated in Showdown. I'm not good. So you don't have to be good to have such a good time at a regional. And afterwards, we got some coffee. We met up with a bunch of fans. There were a bunch of people who recognized us there. I was like taking pictures with so many of them.
Damn mood after losing all those games.
Yeah, we just enjoyed the rest of our time in Vegas. That was a whole Las Vegas regionals experience. I'm so grateful to have gotten to go. It was a truly inspiring experience just to get to learn from some of the best. Honored to have even, like, I don't know, just gotten to be a part of it. This is all Point Crow and Peachell's fault. Honestly, they invited me to this invitational a couple months ago, and now I'm competing in these regionals. I'm gonna sign up. I'm going to Seattle. I must go compete again in the new regulation. So there's right now the current regulation is regulation F. Now I'm learning all these new Pokemon like Raging Bolt and Chiyu and Fluttermane, and I've never seen them before. And I'm like, what are these things? And why are they so strong? That is where I am in my Pokemon journey. I hope that any of this was informative or inspiring. If you are older like me and afraid to get into Pokemon because maybe it's like too daunting, or just seems like too much memorization, or just seems like it just doesn't seem fun, I am here to tell you that it is really, really fun. Coming from a background of just casual Pokemon, I'm primarily a variety streamer. Play Friend Slop and Valorant and Counter-Strike and just random games. And you don't have to be the world champion. You don't have to have that goal even to just have a great time at these events. I really highly encourage you guys to dabble. There's a lot of resources online to learn. But yeah, I hope that was entertaining or just informative to get my perspective and my story on how I got into competitive Pokemon and a little bit into Nuzlocke. I guess I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a long one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.